Students, we're going to start with the second poem of your textbook. We have done 2 poems before. Yes, we have done My Mother at 66. We have done Aunt Jennifer's Tigers, right? And now we're going to start off with the elementary school classroom in a slum. Okay. Now, what do you think this title means? What does the title of the poem mean? Elementary school classroom in a slum. Where is this class? Where is this class? In a slum, right? What is elementary? What do you think elementary classroom would be? Which class would be elementary? Which class would be elementary? The primary classes? Yes, the learning classes, right? And when you think about young children coming to school for learning, what kind of a picture comes to our mind? Yes? Varun, where's your mask? Wear it, please. Pratham, you also, please, please. Yes? What do you think about these youngsters as they come to school? Are they full of energy? Yes? Full of enthusiasm? Right? And now here, a little different would be there that this school is in a slum. When you think about slum areas, what kind of a picture do you have in your mind? What kind of an area? A backward area. What do you call as a backward area? What's a backward area? Yes, lack of facilities. Okay, very nice, very nice. What else? What else when you think about a slum area? Yes? Muddy? Okay, right. By muddy, what do you mean? Like it's not taken care of? It's not clean? Is it? Okay. Then what would the school like there be? No? No benches? Okay. Yes? I can't hear you. No electricity. Okay, fine. What else? Okay. So we are painting a very grim picture. That means you're trying to say that the school in a slum would be without all the basic necessities and all the facilities. Isn't it? Right. What about and you think if the school building is not taken care of? Yes, if it is not taken care of, if the walls are not painted regularly, if the benches are not there, right, the doors are not mended, then what do you think about the students coming there? Do you think the students will be eager to go to such a school which is in such a ignored condition? No. What about children living in the slum? What do you think is their approach towards education? What is their approach towards education? Yes, what do you think is their approach towards education? Do you think they realize the importance of education? Are their parents motivated enough or enthusiastic enough to send their children for an education? So we have here, yes, if the school is there ignored, if the school is not taken care of, right? We have, on the other hand, even the parents also, even the students are not eager to learn, right? Do you think the condition of the building, it reflects the attitude of the people working there? If the building is taken care of, the walls are painted, the furniture is clean and cleanliness is there taken care of, do you think it shows that the people are there concerned about their building, concerned about the job they're doing, concerned about the students who are coming? Yes or no? Yes, right? So if the the surroundings are not taken care of, if the school is not taken care of, then the students also, or the people there, will also not be motivated, right? So our approach towards the surroundings also matter a lot. What do you think about the children from the slums coming for an education? What about their appearance? What do you have to say about their appearance? Yes, Mohit is thinking and thinking. Yes? Appearance. They don't have a proper school uniform. They have a uniform. They don't have. Okay. What else? What else? Shoes not polished. Okay. Let me take a look at your shoes. Yes, shoes not polished. They're not dressed up properly, isn't it? Right? What about the health? Yes? Health what? Sanitization. Lack of hygiene and sanitation, is it? Yes? Moderate. Yes? Without mask? Okay. So even educated people are there, like without masks. So that is not a thing. Now, when we talk about slum areas, why is it that automatically such a sad picture comes to our mind? Why is such a sad picture? Because that's the reality, is it? How can we change this? How can we change this? By teachers can change it. Okay, very good. Yeah, teachers are supposed to bring about a lot of changes. Yes, right. A few things we'd like to change. Okay. Then what do we have to say about the facilities, regarding education? On one hand, we have schools which are so well built. You have these huge auditoriums, you have a huge playground, air-conditioned classes, and, proper care taken of, even meals being provided to the student, right? And on the other hand, we have a building. It's only a building which is not even properly taken care of, right? And students are supposed to learn over there. What is going to be the difference in the kind of learning they have, the goals they have, the ambitions they have? And what does it tell about our society? What does it say? What does it show? Does it show equality or does it show inequality? Inequality, isn't it? So that inequality, it starts right from the beginning, right? Excuse me. We have parents who are ready to spend so much on the basic education of their children. There are parents who are provided a free education. Even then, they are not willing to send their children, right? Excuse me. Sorry about that. So we are going to discuss in this poem what we think about the classroom in the slum. What about the students in the slum? We will be discussing about the inequality that exists in society. And in the end, we will be discussing that, yes, there is hope for these people. We can bring about a change in the lives of these people, okay? Sorry, in the lives of these students, right? And of course here, if we are able to motivate them enough, if we are able to bring about changes, so we can definitely bring about a change in their lives. So when we look at the slum children, we think as if their lives are deprived of color. Color as in dreams, happiness, any kind of motivation. So it seems just like the slum. which appears to be very uncared for, right? Very dull, very gloomy. It seems the future of these children also looks like that. It's a little difficult poem. So I am not going to rush through this. Okay, so we'll be doing it stanza wise easily. And if there are any doubts, please raise your hand and ask me. Let's start with the reading. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces, like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor, the tall girl with her weighed down head, the paper-seeming boy with rat's eyes, the stunted, unlucky heir of twisted bones, reciting a father's gnarled disease, his lesson from his desk. At back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young, his eyes live in a dream of squirrel's game in a tree room other than this. What did you understand here in this stanza? What is described? The children, very good, very good. Yes, the children are described over here. What about their appearance? Do they look healthy? Do they look nourished? Do they? No, they look weak. They look malnourished. They're showing diseases, right? Are they eager to come to school to learn? No, right? So now let us look at the lines here. Far, far from gusty waves. Waves, where will you find the waves? Where will you find the waves? In the sea, along the coast, right? But here, far, far, where are these children? They're very far from the waves. And, you know, like when you have, yes, we read about the storms happening and we show that, you know, like when the waves, they subside and the waves, they go back, what do they leave behind? They leave behind stones and weeds and things which are there, right? And sometimes you have bottles and plastic, things that we have thrown, comes back on the surface, right? Now, far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces, far away from the waves, these children are. Gusty means strong. From the powerful waves, these children are very, very far away. But what do their faces look like? What do they look like? Rootless weeds. What do they look like? Rootless weeds. Where do the weeds come from? Where do the weeds come from? The water, right? Who has been compared with the weeds? The children has been compared with the weeds, right? What? Their appearance. Weeds, like as plants, you know, you see the weeds growing in your garden. What do you do with the weeds? We remove them. We don't like them. We think they are spoiling the beauty of our garden, isn't it? What have the children been compared with? Look at the second line. Like rootless weeds. It is a simile. Yes, the children have been compared with rootless weeds. They are not wanted. Seems that they've been just washed ashore. And what does this mean? Not wanted means that they do not seem to belong here in this school. They don't want to come here, but they are here. Right? Is this clear? Yes. Next is the hair torn around their pallor. What about the hair? It's all torn around. It's all covering their faces. Right? Their pallor. Pallor is paleness. The color of their skin. Why this paleness? What does this paleness show? Are they healthy or are they malnourished? Malnourished. So when you are healthy, you have a glow on your face, isn't it? Right? And when you're not taking proper diet, you're not getting proper meals, the face looks very pale and dull. So what about these children? What are the things about them that make them look unwanted? Like weeds, they are here in this classroom. Okay. And of course, the hair there untidily around their faces. What kind of faces? Unhealthy faces. Yes, am I clear to all the students at home also? Yes? Is it clear? Maulik, Ankit, Gitesh, are you listening? Right. Let's come to the next now. As you all said very correctly, the first stanza describes the children sitting in the classroom. One thing is very, very common. It seems as if they're like weeds. They've just washed away, like they've just come over here, unwanted, right? They don't want to be here. Now let us see the children there. What do they look like? The tall girl with her weighed down head. Tall girl with a weighed down head. Weighed down head. How do you think she would look? Weighed down. Weighed means carrying the burden. As a result, what has happened to her head? It's bowing down. Absolutely correct, Mohit. Of course, he's showing us the action. Absolutely correct. Why do you think this weighed down head? What weight do you think she is carrying? Tall girl with her weighed down head. Once, yes, she is not properly nourished. She has not had a proper growth. She's not had a proper development, right? And of course, here, what do you think about the lives of these children? Do you think they have an easy life? Do you think they have a happy childhood? Do they have an easy life? No, it's quite difficult, isn't it? So, right, so this girl is there is a tall girl, her head is weighed down, it's bowing down because of the burden of her life. At such a young age that she is carrying. It is also showing how, of course, malnourished and underdeveloped, or you can say her growth is not proper. Okay, the first student looks like that. Next is the paper-seeming boy with rat's eyes. Paper-seeming boy. Yeah, paper, like wind blow and the paper is going to very thin. Is it a simile or is it a metaphor? It's a metaphor. The boy is like paper. He's not thin like paper. He is paper. There is no as and like used here. So it is a metaphor. Okay. The paper-seeming boy with rat's eyes. And what does eyes look like? The eyes of a rat. We've all seen rats sometime or the other. And what feeling do they give us? A creepy feeling, isn't it? Right? And rats are always looking here and there. Why? For food? Yes, hungry eyes. So what about the boy's eyes? I don't see you writing. You're supposed to write in case you forget. It's a difficult poem. So what about this boy? He's very thin and his eyes are like that of a rat. Hungry eyes. Right? So he is there constantly looking here and there, and it seems that there is that hunger in his eyes. 2 children we have discussed. Yes? Now next is the stunted, unlucky heir of twisted bones, reciting a father's gnarled disease. There's a boy in the class. But what does stunted mean? Stunted, small. He's not grown up properly. Why? Because he has a problem. What is the problem? He is an unlucky heir. What does it mean? Heir means to inherit, right? So we have people, generally what do we say that, yes, kids, what are we going to inherit from our parents? What do we inherit? What are you going to inherit? What have your parents inherited from there? Yes? What have they inherited? Genes. Okay, genes we have inherited. Apart from that? Yes? Habits inherited? Traits, okay, right? Fine. Like, so we do inherit the genes, and that is why, yeah, so we The appearance is like that, isn't it? Right? We also inherit what? Name, fame, property. Yes or no? Yeah. So you're lucky. If you're lucky enough, you're going to get that also. No, you're going to work very hard then. See, generally, that is what we take. That this is what we're going to inherit from our parents, isn't it? You're going to get some money. You're going to get some property. Yeah, you're going to get a good appearance also. Yeah, if you're lucky enough to have the good genes of your parents, isn't it? This child, he has inherited from his father, but what has he inherited? A disease. And what is that disease? Yes, stunted growth, right? The stunted, unlucky heir of twisted bones. His bones have not developed properly. His limbs have not developed properly. And he is showing the world, this is what I have inherited. This is my inheritance, right? Clear? Yes? Okay. A father's gnarled disease. What is gnarled? Twisted, turned, right? Like you see here, like some trees there on the road and how their roots coming out and those roots were twisted and turned, right? So what is he showing? Reciting. He's showing a gnarled disease. Okay? His lesson from his desk. So when people look at him, they immediately realize that, see, why is he like this? Because he has inherited this disease from his father, right? Unlucky heir. Why is he an unlucky heir? Because he was unlucky enough to have got this disease, which was, of course, genetic, right? And he's showing it. He can't hide it, and he's showing it. The whole world can see it. Everybody can see this disease. Clear? So what about the children that we have discussed? The girl, what's her problem? She's tall and her head is way down and she's unable to stand straight or, you know, looking proud and all because she's burdened by the problems of her life. So even if it has been a small life, it seems she has experienced a lot of problems. Second, thin boy, paper thin boy, right? And looking here and there with hunger in his eyes. Third child, another boy, but yes, showing his disease, right? Clear? Now let's see the next one. At back of the dim class. Noted, dim class. That means, yes, as you all said, the class, the school is not taken care of. It's not well lit, right? So there's no proper lighting over there. And at the back of the dim class, why do you think the child goes and decides to sit at the back of the class where it is not well lit? One unnoted, sweet and young. This boy is sweet, young. Seems to be a healthy child, right? But he does not want to be in school. His eyes live in a dream of squirrel's game in tree room other than this. He's sitting in the class, but is he present, right? Might be physically there, but where is his mind? Wants to be outside. What does he want to do? Enjoy the game outside, like the squirrel's game. He wants to climb trees and wants to run around freely, not sit in the classroom. Is this clear? Is this stanza clear? Yes? Over there at home, can I get a yes or no? Are we listening? Yes? Okay, now just let us go through the devices here. Like ruthless weeds. What does this mean? What is the literary device over here? Simile. Who has been compared with the ruthless weeds? The children have been compared. The students in the classroom have been compared with the ruthless weeds. Okay, right. Next, paper seeming boy with rat's eyes. Paper seeming. It's a metaphor. It's a comparison. Kaisa hai? Like he's a paper, thin, like that, light like paper. Okay, and his eyes, rat's eyes, constant hunger, looking here and there, right? And now the rat's eyes don't keep still. It's always looking here and there, you know, and stiffing there. Okay, right? So yeah. Then we have the other boy, stunted, unlucky heir of twisted bones, reciting a father's gnarl disease. His lesson from his desk, right? Yes. So what are the devices here? We have these two devices, isn't it? Right? What does pallor mean? What does pallor mean? Paleness. And why that paleness? Because of malnourishment, because of lack of proper nutrition, right? And all these children are showing, right? So right from their appearance, we can judge at what kind of a background they are coming from. First of all, yes, they're not ready to come to school. They look very out of place here. It seems, what are they doing in a school? How can the school change their life? Right? Then we look at the appearance, we realize that, yes, they've had quite a difficult childhood. Okay? Right. Yes. So can we start with the next stanza? Can we? I think the time is also about to be over. We have, I think, so 2 minutes left.